Okay, I was saying that on Monday we have Germany prelim CPI for the euro. On Tuesday, we have RBA rate statement, that is for Australian dollar. I like trading those rates. They're always nice moves. And then the same Tuesday, during the New York session at 5 p.m., we're going to have JOLTS job openings, as well as manufacturing PMI, that is on Tuesday, 5 p.m. Then on Wednesday, we're going to have ADP, an non-farm employment change. It's also a key data that will give us a clue on what to anticipate during the non-farm payroll on Friday. Then on Wednesday, the same Wednesday, on Thursday, we're going to have CPI for the CHF. Those guys who trade CHF pairs, take note of that. These are red folder news or high impact news. Same Thursday, 3:30 p.m., we're going to have unemployment claims for the dollar. And then we wrap our week on Friday, whereby we're going to have NFP, rather than a farm employment change, whereby it will be accompanied with unemployment rate. We'll also be having unemployment rate and change for the Canadian dollar. Then we're gonna have later at 6 p.m., 6:25 p.m. Kenyan time, we're going to have a speech from Uncle Powell. So that's what we have on our economic calendar. Take note of that every day throughout the week. Make sure you check on what you have on that specific day and get to understand how the data or the news that will be released, how will it affect whichever pair you're trading, so that you don't be surprised or wonder what is happening, maybe the moves that you see. You don't just focus on the high impact news. We have also the moderate or the medium, let me show you, which will be cutting across the week. So when you check on your calendar, you'll see that. So for me, I focus so much on high impact news because that's what pushes the market. So don't ignore the mid or the medium impact news. It's very important you also have a consideration of that. So from the technical point of view, of course, I'll start with the dollar index. And I want us to see what happened last week and what we were anticipating and what we have for this coming week. So from the other session that we had considered this zone. We had considered we had considered price to pull back to these price levels of around 106.38. That means around this area. But as you can see, the market has been pushing up. Let's just check the 4 hours chart. Look at what has been happening. I still believe, or I still feel, based on what I'm seeing on the chart, using the liquidation concepts that we use, I anticipate price to come and maybe, let me see. Okay, just a moment. That's 4 hours. Yes, I anticipate price to drop to this level. Let me show you. Then maybe later on, pushes all the way to 106. So whenever you see that, simply tells you that pairs like EURUSD, GBPUSD, we expect some massive shorts or rather sells. All right, are you guys following? Are you together? Let me see on the chat section if you're together. Let me know in the chat section if you're together and if you can as well follow the that I'm sharing on the screen. All right, perfect. So that's what I have on. I don't really have much to say on dollar. If you look at the monthly time frame, we've had a very massive momentum for sales, But where price is at the moment, price is trading at a zone of liquidity. For those guys who understand weak overlaps, price is trading at an area of liquidity. And we anticipate probably what I've just shown you on the 4 hours, the market to go all the way to 106, then maybe continue selling, and so on and so forth. That's what I have on the dollar index, unless there's anyone who has a different opinion on that. And then from there, we can look at a pair like EURUSD. Now, if you look at EURUSD, the current the current price range has the current market price, but the current price action price has been ranging these particular price levels. The market has been ranging these particular price levels. But if you understand the liquidation process, the trend has been bearish all the way from the above. Trend has been bearish. You can look at the swing zones or swing points. And we have this particular range, rather some sort of consolidation on a monthly level. Though, if you look at the aspect of liquidity and the consumption, you can clearly see that from the monthly perspective, you can clearly see that the market had formed a shift of price in this area. Market formed a shift of price in that particular area. And after forming a shift, we can clearly see that just a moment. Just a moment. All right. So I'm saying we can clearly see that these shifts are created, or rather, when the shift was being formed, price had formed these areas of liquidity. Price had formed these areas of liquidity, which came and did a reconsumption. But since we have imbalances, which will be seen clearly in the daily time frame, there is a shift that has happened, or rather, there is a shift. Okay, where price is heading to, price is coming to consume this liquidity, the monthly time frame, which will take a couple of months. Not maybe it might take a couple of months. So price is aiming to come for this liquidity. And also we have another liquidity at the top. So we have this area at the top. Although there's a consumption, if you go to lower time frame, you'll see that. That's a zone that we can consider later on. So if you look at this market came near this zone, dropped. Where we are at the moment, technically from a monthly perspective, the market, there's one thing that I want you guys to master. Okay. Just a moment. Okay. Just a minute, guys. There's an emergency. I need to handle it. Okay. Sorry for that. So I was saying, when you're looking for monthly swings, weekly swings, there's an important aspect that you have to consider. Based on time frame alignment or other coordinations, there are things that, for example, you need to see on the daily time. On the daily time frame, so that you can have a confirmation of a certain direction of the monthly trend. So for example, if you look at EURUSD right now, on the monthly time frame, price has been reacting on this particular range, or rather in this particular zone, which is actually a type, it's a zone of liquidity. We have weak overlaps. And if you go to the daily time frame, we have these seen clearly. That's why price has been reacting here. So from the other session, we talked about this and we were looking at this liquidity engineering. Was it? No, it was GBPUSD. Sorry. There's some liquidity engineering on 1 hour that was giving us some nice move. So if you look at DXY, we're anticipating price to sell a little bit and then push up. So if you look at EURUSD, we can as well see that we anticipate price to come maybe for this liquidity engineering at this area. And then maybe we're going to do what? We're going to drop massively. Because the thing is, price will always go for liquidity. And then maybe we'll be coming to this particular area. So having said that, when you're looking for swings, you need to understand where price is heading to. By the way, if you understand the liquidation cycle convoy, it's easier to take trades from any angle or any zone of the market. So when you're looking at the daily time frame, you can clearly see that, first of all, we have understood that on the monthly time frame, we are on an area of liquidity, which is a weak overlap, which is this. So on the monthly time frame, price game reacted there and then dropped. Now on the daily time frame, the previous trend was bearish. The previous trend was bearish. Oh my goodness, why are guys texting me right now? Wow, are they since morning? So the previous trend was bearish. The recent trend right now, it's bullish. All right. So in terms of liquidation, if I look at the daily chart very well, since this is the monthly area of liquidity, all these in terms of weak overlaps, if I look at the recent structure that I have and I turn my chart into, I can see we have a shift point, which is a confirmation of price is intending to sell. So if I put it here, this is a shift point, which is happening on the daily time frame within the monthly area of liquidity, all right? So that's a shift point. But now this shift point doesn't have, this shift point does not have an inside or an outside formation that has been formed. So whenever market forms a shift and it has not left us with an inside or an outside formation, what you are supposed to consider, you consider any type of liquidity that you can see, right? If you look at how price has reacted on these weeks, it's like it's been doing self-consumption because weeks, look at the price action. Like for example, if you look at this week, this candlestick, the wick came inside, and all that. So the last area that I can consider, or the area that I can really give my attention to, is where we have liquidity engineering, on the same daily time frame, or rather I can use the type 5. So I have liquidity engineering here because why I'm saying this liquidity engineering, because we had price forming this high. And then after forming that high, it formed this low. So what happened? The market came, reacted above that high, then came, took out the low. So in most cases, when the price will come, it will always go to the liquidity engineering and react. So having said that, that simply means for a swing, a very nice swing that we are anticipating, because we are anticipating the dollar to buy for some time, maybe a couple of days. So then that means we will also be looking for good sales at around this zone. If you measure the pips, pairs like EURUSD are supposed to have less than, okay, those are a lot of pips. So what do we do? I told you guys, when you're looking for entries, focus on entries that are nearest to the validation and invalidation point, or the FM, the furthermost deviation. So if I go to 1 hour, if I go to 1 hour time frame, I can use so when I'm on 1 hour time frame, I can consider my entry at this point. Consider my entry at this particular point. That's like 20 pips, which is not that bad. So if I have my entry there, that simply means I'm going to target my next area of liquidity. I'll be targeting my next area of liquidity, which is at the bottom here. Just a minute, guys. Sorry for that, guys. So I was saying, so for these swing, once price comes to this area, I'll be interested to short from around this particular zone. Of course, I'll refine as the week goes on. We'll update that, and then I'll be interested to sell all the way to this zone. That's an RR of around 1 to 18, 400 pips. So that's my interest on Euro USD. I'm gonna be keen to swing from that point. Remember, intradays and swings are a little bit different. So that is what we have on Euro USD. If I look at what we have, there's also a type of liquidity that has been formed, which is a type 1. So it gives me much confidence that this price will come here and then we'll be selling. And when we'll be selling, the best area to target will be probably on this flip. So that's what I have on Euro USD. So I'll be interested to sell up to that point. But remember, guys, our work as traders is just to do the analysis, follow our methodologies and plans, then let the market do whatever it does. If things changes, then you need to also be flexible based on the plan. You might say that you're selling and then tomorrow you wake up, the market changes, everything changes. So we have to adjust and be flexible based on what price tells us. Are we guys following? Before I move to the next pair. Are we following before I move to the next pair? What are these guys making? So that is it. I can see the chat section also. Hello, why not from monthly to day, but 1 hour or not? I was expecting you move from monthly to daily. I already did that, Nelson. Maybe you joined the meeting late. I talked of the monthly, and at the moment, price is trading at the week overlaps, which is an area of liquidity here. Then I went all the way to the daily time frame, and I've already seen what is happening on the daily time frame. There's also a possibility, guys, of price coming to this hidden liquidity. We call it camouflage, and react from that particular zone. Let me show. There's also a possibility of price coming here, then react. Something like that. That's why I'm saying as the week goes on, we'll be updating on whatever is happening. So for now, I'm anticipating for price to come here, then I'll be dropping massively with that. So I had already shared the monthly view, the daily view, and then I showed you the 1 hour, view. So that's what I have on Euro USD. So I'll be interested to sell from that particular zone, of course, on the development that will be happening. So that simply means for the intradays, once the market opens, we'll also be looking at the structures that can guide us to go all the way to the upside based on 1 hour areas of liquidity, of course, aligned with 15 minutes and refined with 3 minutes. So that will go all the way up there. All right. Because if I still look at this structure right now, I can see liquidations, structures being formed and consumption like this one. Market has come, consumed this. Maybe if price will come here, it will based on this liquidity engineering. But based on whatever we have at the moment, I feel like price might be heading. Hold on. Based on what I have here, price has already done. These are just intraday opportunities for tomorrow, which we'll be discussing in the morning. So price might come here and push up further, but we'll be doing refinements. We'll be doing refinements. Yes, price might come here, then push up further, because in terms of liquidity engineering, this zone has been consumed, or this price has been consumed. So maybe market comes here on liquidity engineering and then goes up. So for intradays, we'll be looking for opportunities to the upside, and then for the swings. Why am I saying that? Because already we had a shift point here and price left inside formation that has been consumed. So that's why I'm saying that on EURUSD will be buying. Just the way I said, dollar will be selling for some time and then we buy. Then EURUSD will be buying and then we sell. So for the swings, I'll be looking for sales. I think that is clear. Now let me go to the other pair and go to the next pair. Okay, I'm going to the next pair. That is on EURUSD. Let me download this right now before I forget. Then I'll post on Discord. Sometimes I forget these things. So let's look at GBPUSD. GBPUSD. So it has the same narrative. Welcome, Nelson. All right. So when you look at GBPUSD, just for the purpose of guys getting to know what I'm talking, I'll just delete everything. Now, when you look at GBPUSD, it has a similar kind of structure as EURUSD in terms of the trend, right? Now, just a moment. Perfect. So when you look at it, we have this recent structure. Okay, the previous structure from a monthly perspective, we are bearish. The recent structure, we are bullish. So where is price at the moment technically? Where is price at the moment from a technical perspective? So we can clearly see that this is the most recent structure. This week, I feel like I'm going to make a lot of money. I don't know why I have that feeling. So we have this structure here, which on this server, it's hidden, but there's a structure here. I'm just showing you the liquidation of monthly, what happened before the market got to where it is. So there was that shift point and the price had already formed this structure. Then the market came, did some sort of consumption, but not fully. And then later on, the market went up, formed this structure, and then took out this high and reacted on this area. And remember, this monthly, it will take a couple of weeks and days for price to either come here or move all the way to the downside. So when you're on the monthly time frame, you need to look at the most. Whenever you have, I can see we have a shift point here, but this shift point doesn't have an inside or an outside formation. So what do we consider? So we now consider things like quick overlaps or any type of formation, which is based on types of liquidity. I've always talked about type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, type 5, and all that. So we have a type here on a monthly time frame, which is type 5. But before we get there, those are so many days. We have week overlaps here. Before we get there, we have week overlaps, which is a structure that is seen clearly. So the two black lines, let me change them to red. The two red price levels represent weak overlaps, which when weak overlaps on monthly, which when you go to the daily, we'll see them as a clear structure. So we can consider that because you already had a shift point here. We had a shift point at this particular area, or rather zone. So when you are also labeling the shift points, guys, you need to use body to wicks. You need to use body to wicks to body, I mean. So there's a shift point here on monthly. I want to validate this on the daily time frame. We have a shift point at that particular area. Then we have this formation on daily, which is a weak overlap. And then at the top, we have a type 5, which will also be another consideration. So when you go to the daily, okay, before you go to the daily, we can also check on what we have on weekly. If you look at weekly, you can clearly see that at this area, the bulls are struggling to break this price zone. And that is an indication that there's a high chance that the market might be coming down to this area, maybe before it goes up. So if I go back to monthly, you see that price is at the near the week. So if I go to the daily time frame now, you can see that where is price reacting from? Price is reacting from these structures. And if you look at these structures very well, the extreme point, we have our liquidity engineering there, the daily time frame. That's where price reacted from. If you are keen, you are following this price the other week, you could have gotten these cells. You'll have gotten those cells there, but there's a lot of information on 1 hour. So on the daily time frame, there's a shift. Let me show you. Remember the zone that we're talking about, it's a monthly area of liquidity, right? Which is based on weak overlaps. Now, when you look at the daily structure, we can clearly see that from here, from this area, price formed this swing point, came and took it, then went up from another swing point, left this, and then went up. This is the highest price level that we have based on that zone. Now, the market came and traded below this. This now becomes our shift point. But as much as that shift point happened, the market has not left. Price has not left any. Let me show you. Price has not left. If you go back to the candlesticks, price has not left any formation. So that means we can either still use the type of liquidity or any other sub areas of liquidity. So based on that, this was the lowest point. What caused that validation? Okay, so this is where we have our shift point. Nice. This is where we have our shift point. And since that is our shift point, okay, since we have that as our shift point, we had these inside formation. Let me show you guys. We had this inside formation. We have this inside formation. Let me show you. So we need to use the validation and then validation points. Based on the daily time frame. So whatever the market is doing, if I look at the top here, okay, we'll have if the price will really go back there, we'll have a consideration of selling from this extreme point. But with the recent structure that we have, this is our shift point. Just show you. So if you go to the 1 hour time frame, sometimes you go to the lower time frame to understand liquidation, to understand like if liquidity has been consumed. So if I look at the structures very well, I can see, okay. I'm looking for any unconsumed zone. Nice. So that takes us to this liquidity engineering, which is at the bar at that particular point. And near that liquidity engineering, we also have a shift point and we have a formation. So for GBPUSD, for the swing cells, we're going to focus on looking for ourselves from that area. We can have a stop loss of up to 20 pips. And then we're going to aim. We are going to aim. We're going to aim. Hold on. Yes, we'll be aiming. That's our take profit. If you look at that, is also another RR of almost 1 to 21, around 380 pips. So that's what I also have on GBPUSD for the swings. I want you guys to understand that it's all about patience. So for those who will be interested to swing, that's the best area we'll be interested to look for sales all the way up to that. So we'll be refining this zone once price reaches there. Now for the intradays, although tomorrow we'll be doing a session in the morning to confirm that. So these swings, of course, I'll refine as time goes by so that we get a very nice are you guys following? Are you guys following? Are you following? Are you following? Are we together? Yes, Kevin, I can see your hand is raised. You can just unmute yourself and ask the question. All right, I don't know. Kevin, your hand is raised. Maybe you can ask if you have a question. Right, so those guys that I have private classes with you this week, we're gonna do a lot, especially those people in Eldoret. So that is on GBPUSD. Let me download this because if I don't do this, I might forget. So that is on GBPUSD. So for intradays kind of opportunities for this week or maybe midterm swings, I want to see what we have. We need to check on the weekly chart. The weekly chart, we are still there. Mm-hmm. I want to see what you have on the weekly chart. Mm-hmm. This was a formation. Let me see. And if you look at the body closure, you see all the body candles they have closed below that area, which means pure liquidity. Okay, which means I'm just trying to understand what is happening. Okay, we had this. Let me show you. For the weekly, for the what do you call it? For the intradays, before we get maybe for the midterm swings for the weekly, we'll be interested with this. We'll be interested with this area because that is our shift point. If I look at the types of liquidity we have, let me see that 4 hours chart. Facilitate the push to the upside. Maybe what will happen before the market goes up? There are two possibilities. Either market will go up. If the market goes up very fast, then you're going to take that swing. But if it doesn't go up, then you're going to my interest will be based on these. Let me show you. My interest will be based on these. but the chances is the market will go up fast. I see someone is drawing on the screen. I don't know is that. So before we sell, there's also this market come here, then it goes up before we have the swing. So that's what I have on GBPUSD. Those are for intradays, like for the midterm swing. So what pushes the market are the fundamental data. Okay. Kevin wanted to ask, what if price doesn't deliver to that entry that you are considering as your swing point? Continues to lower. Show how you will make self in a move. Not forgetting if it's an NFP. Okay. Number one, the thing is, just a moment. It's an NFP week, of course. We expect a lot of the price action sometimes might not be clean, especially when we might realize that once we are on Thursday, price will start doing. We might have a slow week before we have the massive moves in terms of price just trying to range, trying to build up liquidity before we have crazy moves. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to just observe what will happen for the intradays, and I'll be able to take advantage based on what the price show. But from what we have, the moment, I'll stick to the monthly coordination based on that week overlap, and I'll stick for the daily confirmation. If price comes below before going up, then I'll be interested to look at this zone. I'll be interested to look at this zone and look for buys. And if I'll be looking for buys, I'll be targeting these extreme points. I'll be targeting these extreme points. Let me show you. If price comes to this area before it goes to that entry level, I'll be targeting to look for buys from this zone, and I'll be aiming this area. Though, when it comes to managing the trades, we manage our trades based on the structures that are being printed, of course, following the right time frame coordination based on the cycle that you're following. So I think I'm done with GBPUSD. Let me look at Kim. Are you there? I don't want to take much time. I also want to give others a chance. Kim? Aris? Kim FX? Okay. Meanwhile, I'll talk about gold. Meanwhile, I'll talk about gold. Let's talk about gold. Gold is one of the favorite assets that I like trading. It's the best. Oh, sorry. Oh, let me unmute. I muted this because other people are making noise. So let me unmute. Kim, check your mic. I think now you can. Okay, let me talk about gold and then I'll give you a chance to talk about the other pairs, Audi USD, USD card, and the rest. Now,
Okay.
so when you look at gold, last week gold really gave us some good money. If you go to these buys, this was my last buy that I had at 30.15. So if you had the guts to hold, by now you should have acquired almost 650 pips plus. If you're using one lot, that is $6,500. If you're using 10 lots, depending on the size of your account, that's 65,000 USD. If you're using 0.1 lot, that is $650. Depends with the account size and the risk management and your risk appetite. So, having said that, now I want us to look at gold and break it down. The structure that we have on gold, starting from the monthly time frame. Number one, we have this zone as our major and the most recent area of liquidity. We have our validation and invalidation point. So these are a zone that this is the last area of liquidity that we have where we expect probably price will be coming. Now, that is on the monthly time frame. So we have that area of liquidity. Then when you go to check on weekly time frame, it is valid, it's in lining with the monthly. Another area of liquidity that we have on weekly chart, it's at these particular price points. So we have the validation. Let me see. This is the lowest point around the price level. And this is what we have. So those are the two areas of consideration. Of course, once price comes and breaks this zone, we know that our next target will be the 2700 levels, 2743 all the way to 2588. So when it comes to coordination and time frame alignment, what we consider is the shift points on the first situational time frames. Now, if you look at, we go back to monthly, we realize the structure that we've seen on weekly, it's on week overlaps. Maybe I could consider pushing it all the way to this area. Maybe you have, okay, I've done the validation and invalidation. So we have that structure, that particular area on monthly, on weekly, that is the structure. On the daily time frame, nice. I like the way this thing is aligning itself. So on the weekly time frame, or on the weekly cycle, the daily structure is within on the daily. So which means if price will come all the way to this zone, we'll be interested to look for buys based on what we're gonna get, because here we have there's so many things. There's liquidity engineering, so on, so on. So we'll be interested to look for some refinement to help us buy. So we react based on what price tells us. So that is daily. Look at the recent liquidities that we have. We have this structure here, the daily. So since we are very bullish at the moment, the last option or the last zone that is left is this. I'm talking about the recent areas that we can consider. It's week overlap. Those are week overlaps as an area of liquidity, weekly time frame, daily time frame. You see a structure. If you go to 4 hours, a lot of information. There was some sort of liquidity buildup. So for me to sell, let me now tell you something, guys. For me to sell, this is weekly time frame. For me to sell, I need to see a shift happening on 4 hours so that I can sell and target this area 2978. So that's the first thing for me to sell for the midterm swings. For me to continue buying, right now we have this flip at this area. So once the market opens tomorrow or a few hours from now, I'll be interested once the market price comes all the way, because we are strongly bullish. We are targeting 3100 price level. For me to buy, I'll be considering these flips. I'll be considering those flips. So, okay, just a moment. Yes, we have this structure here. which we can consider. So this will be the best area to consider. We remove these others. Now, perfect. So, in terms of buying, I'll be interested to see the market coming here on this liquidity engineering. Let me see. Consumption has happened. So I'll be interested to look for buys from this area. It will be tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, any day. So, we have to monitor what price tells us. So I'll be interested to look for buys from this zone. But my first area that I can as well consider, sorry for that. My first area that I'll as well consider is 3047. It's an area to consider for buys. If the bulls want hold, then I'll be interested to, sorry. My first consideration area to buy from is at this flip. But if bulls won't hold, I'll be going to the most discounted price level. Then I'll continue going up to the next, because right now, based on what price did last week, the next major psychological zone is 3,500. So I'll give detailed updates on gold and analysis in the course of the London session. Once the market open, I'll drop out intraday opportunities and as well as midterm swings and long-term swings based on how price action unfolds. So I don't think if I have much to say on gold. So I've already told you guys here is the zone that I'm interested in. And also this. Even if I go to H1, I don't have anything to guide me in selling at the moment. But if price comes and takes out this low, then I'll be looking for the structure that will have been created previously to use it as my reference point to do what? To look for sales. Because if I look at the body closures, this is the highest price level at the moment. So if for me to sell to this one, once price trades below this area, if I'll see a candlestick closure at this point below this week, I'll be looking for reasons that will give me an idea to sell, and I'll be selling to this zone before we go up. All right. What factors did you consider buys from that area and not the others? Timothy, which area are you talking about? Give me the price points, then I got that zone. Raymond, you'll just text me on WhatsApp. My number is 0701043762. So, Timothy, which price level are you talking about? I need the coordinates. Just type in the chat section, then I'll look at that. I need to understand your question because I had several zones. So the thing is, okay, let me go back to daily. This is the monthly candlestick closing, guys. All right. And we are very bullish. Sorry, this is the monthly candlestick closing. So for us to sell from the monthly perspective, I want you guys to get this clearly. From the monthly perspective, the zone that price might go, if you get a very nice swing to sell from these few days ahead of us, then just know that we'll be coming all the way to this area. If you measure the pips, so long as you're in the Discord, don't worry, I'm going to share the updates as we move on. That's like 3,500 pips. But now, price doesn't just move like that. So we have to take advantage of those moves. If you check the weekly chart, the immediate zone that we consider is the 2936. But also, if you go further to the daily time frame, based on the structures that we have, the immediate structures that we consider The first structure we consider is this around 3050 level as a psychological zone, and 3000 zone, or rather the 33012, right? So I don't have any confluence or reference point that will guide me to sell at the moment, the daily. So I need to go to to lower time frames to look for reasons or reference that will give me sales. At the moment, I don't have anything to guide me on selling. But if price comes, once the market opens, price comes and trades below 3066, then I'll be looking for reasons to sell. I'll be looking for reasons to sell, and I'll be targeting this first zone. If price comes here, if I look at the unconsumed price levels, I will also be going there. This one has been consumed. This one maybe. So that means if price comes here, I'll also be interested to go all the way to maybe before we go up. So it's just understanding price action, all right? Understanding price action. So on gold, that's what we have. More updates will be during the morning sessions, and updates as the week goes on Discord. So Raymond, my number is 07010437. So think up to that point, I can allow Aris to share other pairs like DJ, EURUSD, USD card, USD. Then you're going to end it. I think I'll spend so much time to talk about the three pairs. Aris, you can take over. Kim. Okay, Ngare, you can, maybe I'll give you a chance to talk about GJ. Yeah, this thing of, I don't want to allow everyone to talk because the people make a lot of noise.
Oh, pole bwana, naenda kuongea umenimute. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
So let me share mbio. I think we cover much. So maybe two cover to the ones that have not been touched yet. I think from last week our analysis was on point. We talked about gold. We talked about SD card. We talked about Nasdaq, and most of them for the intraday sessions, Monday, Tuesday, the setups that we analyzed during the session, I think went our way. I think hapo kulikuwa na kamoja for gold. I think we were talking about a shift here, and then we were talking about to sell up. We manage around, I think 2 hour back up.
Aris, maintain English. The people don't understand Swahili.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks for the heads up. So last week I was stating we had a very nice sell setup on gold there, analyzed on Sunday, and I think we had a nice 2 hour from that one, that setup. So I think that one is clear. So on to this week, I think on the lower time frame, as you can see, we have a clear break of structure to the upside. I think my next key level is 3100 levels up on the top notch there. But we'll be looking to sell on a discounted price as Sesbon has stated. So we'll not be quite in a hurry to look for buys, rather than look for pullbacks from these critical zones. Then we continue buying maybe to the higher levels. But if we get nice confirmations on the lower time frame to sell on this zone here, maybe the 3100 level, I think will be comfortable to take the sales maybe back to the validation areas or the inside formations areas as marked here. We have a camouflage here. We have a for the SMC guys, we have a breaker block around that zone on the BOS. But we have a new BOS here. So begin to see how price react around this level that I've marked there. So I think for gold, for the guys who are buys, I think the price has been overbought. So for the guys who took buys around Thursday, Friday, I think as everyone has stated, they made some money. So we'll wait for market to breathe so that we can take next positions. So maybe I tackle USD card. On USD card, we're still buying on the same. As everyone stated, we started with the DXY. We're still bullish on the same. On the daily, we're still holding this setup with my community. We're targeting this area of liquidity, area one liquidity up here. So I still buy bullish on USD card. For the guys who are swing traders and they love swinging, I think this trade really tested their patience. But in the advent that the dollar just strengthened this week, I think the guys who trade the dollar pairs will be in for some good swings. Because on my analysis on the DXY, you're targeting this area here. So price might be doing a nice pullback here for the guys of Wyckoff. Then we continue buying. What the thing that is maybe enticing us for the DXY is this nice imbalance here. This nice imbalance can be filled even in one session. So for the guys who are the holders, please just look for your nice swing and put a nice lot size and wait for your money. And even close your week on Tuesday, Wednesday. That's generally on the DXY. So you look on the counter pairs, USD card, you'll be looking for buys on the same. And also Basweti has touched on EURUSD and GU on the dollar aspect. I think I have a nice setup on this one. Still holding a swing, but I'm targeting this key zone. It's my first TP, and then the next key zone down here for the EU. GU maybe will look for maybe entries as the week unfolds, but generally we are looking for that spike of buy from the DXY. I think that is enough for the dollar pairs. Now for the guys of stocks, maybe I'll look for something. I think for stocks, the Nasdaq last week with my community, it really does bad. We were in for the sales on the same, but price took us out slightly and then sold over 3% from Wednesday. I think maybe we entered the sales early because price just we entered the sales around Tuesday, and then price just took us. We were holding overnight. By the time we were waking up, price had already taken us out. And then on Wednesday, it started falling like crazy. And it fell till Friday. Around, if you look at the percentages, it fell like 3.1, 3.2% pathetically on the NASDAQ. So still bearish on the same. Even if you are just taken out with just 1% loss, we move. On the same, still bearish on the Nasdaq. As you can see, maybe on the daily and on the monthly, we have nice area of liquidities to be mitigated. On the down here, we have area 5 or type 1 liquidity, type 5 liquidity, and type 1 down here. And also the same has been confirmed, maybe from the daily go to the 1 hour. We already have a shift on the 1 hour or a change of character. But the guys of SMC, ICT have a change of character from here. So I think this is a nice confirmation that we're looking for sales, the downside. So for the NASDAQ, maybe if we get a nice pullback on the same around this zone, we'll continue selling. I think the shift has already confirmed for us that we are looking for sales up to this zone that I was marked here. We have a type 5 liquidity around this area there. So for the NASDAQ, we're looking for sell.
Aris, are you still there?
Is it okay? I was even going to comment.
Maybe
Okay.
I don't know. I conclude.
Okay, it's his net that is bad. He started moving again.
Oh, am I back? Gary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So I was finalizing on the US 30. I think Yes, that is still bearish on the same. We have a type 5 liquidity, but I will not recommend we take this setup because I think it has already moved much further to the downside. So I think the best, maybe the A setup we can get it on the NASDAQ as we fail it to mitigate type 5 liquidity down here and type 1 liquidity on the daily time frame. So this week we're expecting a dollar to gain some momentum and we'll have some nice swings on the NASDAQ and on the dollar pairs. So I think for the community members across, be vigilant. You might be posting some swings across. So this is the week that you will test your psychology. How mature are you psychologically to hold the trades? I think back to you, Basweti, to maybe they look at GJ, maybe Ngari or someone. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll be taking you guys through DJ. I hope everyone can hear me, right?
Yes, yes. GJ and EURUSD.
Okay. So before I get to GJ, okay, I was trading Bitcoin today. I took a sell. I took a sell. I think it was yesterday, and then I was holding till today. Yeah. So ideally, I sold from here. TP was hit today, as you guys can see. Before we get to GJ, when you're getting to do anything with Japanese pairs, you first go to, like Harry started. He started with the DXY, yeah. So when you're doing anything with GJ, anything with JPY, anything that has J, first slide over to the JPY basket. Ideally for me, I'll start over with a higher time frame, and we move to the downside so that I can get a clear market structure and understand what is currently happening in the markets. Yeah. So GJ currently monthly, it has been very bearish. It's collected liquidity. Okay, let me check in the weekly. It looks like it's collected liquidity from the top side, ideally, because as you guys can see over here, let me just mark it like this. This was our area of interest. Ideally, I think there was a flip over here because price came, tapped, and started dipping, and this is it's the weekly time frame. Yeah. So since I saw a point of interest in the weekly time frame, I'll just use we usually use the time coordination for this. Yeah. So on the monthly, you slide to the daily to the 1 hour, but from the weekly, you slide to the 4 hour, to the 30 minutes, to the 5 minutes, then to the minute. Yeah. So as you guys can see, I marked the zone on the monthly, and ideally we have, as you guys can see, price came, tapped there, created another. This is what we call liquidity engineering. I usually call it QM. So we had this. So I'm taking it that price came, got this. Ideally, what was supposed to happen over here? Price was supposed to do this. Come here, tap down, go back up. Then it's supposed to. It wasn't supposed to like completely go down. It's supposed to come, tap somewhere here, then dip. Yeah. It can go up to here, or it can go up to here, depending if there's a flip or not. But this one, I'm assuming there was a flip somewhere over here. Hence price came, and it tapped it cleanly. I presume. Yeah, as you guys can see, the flip was around here. Let me just mark it cleanly. This is what will tell me where the flip was. Okay. So ideally, price came to around this area. Yeah. Okay, ideally this is where we got our point of interest. There's a type over here. So I don't know if it tapped the type then dipped, or yep, as you guys can see perfectly, it just tapped it, then continued falling to the downside. Yeah. So when this one is selling, you're expecting the JPY pairs to buy, but when this one is buying, you're expecting the JPY pair to be selling. So currently for this, what I'm saying is that we are still in a, we are technically in downtrend, in an uptrend. Sorry, let me go to the daily. I want to confirm something before I start confusing myself. Yeah, we are in a downtrend, meaning the JPY pairs are buying like crazy. Yeah, and since we're in a downtrend, I'm expecting maybe price will retrace a bit to this zone. It's called is it a demiator? I think it's a demiator. Where, okay, my tools here. There's this structure over here. Yeah, I'm expecting price to retrace up until a bit more of it to consume that structure. Maybe ideally, what I'm thinking, it will come. There's a type over here. Yeah, price will come up until this area, then it will melt all over to the downside. Yeah. So this is what I want to see. I want to see price shoot up, tap here, then deep. Like when I say deep, I mean massive deep. Kojili, we can see when we slide over to the weekly. Yeah, when we slide over to the weekly, there's a lot of liquidity lying down here to be consumed. There's a whole lot of liquidity lying here. Yeah, and we also have a type over here. We have this type. Like there's so much liquidity lying on the downside that if you're thinking about holding buys for long term, you're doing disservice to yourself. So since on this we're looking for sells, it means each and every JPY pair, as you guys can see over here, there's AUD JPY, CAD JPY, GBP JPY, Euro JPY, USD JPY, and so on and so forth. Yeah, all these pairs that are against the JPY pairs, they will be buying, because this is like the DXY for the JPY pairs. Now let's slide to GBP, JPY. As you guys know, I solely work with forex.com. The other thing that I could rely on apart from forex.com, it's this one. There's this broker that I discovered recently. It's called Saxo, Saxo. Yeah. At least the candles, they tell you, as much as there's gaps there, they don't have as much gaps as compared to the others. Anyways, now we are at the weekly. Yeah, ideally we had a week overlap over here. As you can see, it's already marked. If we slide over to the 4 hour, maybe we might have gotten to our area of interest. What in the world is not happening? Okay. Now, this over here, actually, I actually sold here. I took profits when it got to here, then price actually reversed. Anyways, was it like I was telling you guys, we have our area of interest here. Let me go back to the weekly. I want to mark it for you guys and remove my drawings on the charts. Remove my team drawings. Okay. So currently, we have this week overlap here. That's the first confluence on price pushing to the upside. Apart from this week overlap, which price is currently consuming, we have a type over here. This is in the weekly. Yeah? I want to see price go up to this zone, then maybe sell short term. Why? Because there's a lot of liquidity lying up here. Yeah. So for this one, I'm extremely bullish. Yeah. As you guys can see, we had this week overlap over here, a good area of interest. Price came, consumed it completely. Then price came again, gave you another entry, and it gave you a reversal. Actually, for this on the weekly, we haven't actually have we received a shift? Let me see. Yep, we completely have a shift. And if price decides to come down here, it'll be just to take maybe get an entry over here on this between these two candles. This one. This is where I'll be paying attention to get buys, to be honest with you. In this zone, we'll actually refine it on a lower time frame, but because we got a clean shift over here, for those who trade liquidity, technically understand what I'm talking about. Let me put that color instead. So we got a shift. We have this is technically my area of interest because we have this week overlap over here, and price seems like it's still very bullish, considering we checked it on the basket. So if price decides to come down, what I'll be looking at is this specific area. This I want price to come down. If it's coming from here right now, if it keeps pushing to the downside, I want to come up until this one. This is a type over here. This is a type 6 because it failed to engulf it completely, but this one got to engulf this candle. This one was the one that actually broke structure to the upside. Plus, there was this liquidity engineering. Price came, it went up, then it got down. Yeah. So price will come to this zone, then push up. If there is a flip, we haven't gone down to the lower time frames to check. If there's a flip around here somewhere, price might come trail around this zone, then shoot up. So this zone over here, this is our validation, this is a violation, and this is our furthermost deviation. Yeah. So ideally, a stop loss will be around here when you're getting your entries from here. You can wait till over here to get your entries, or you can decide I'll take my entry on this. I'll take my entry on this stop loss. I'll take it down there, then take my long positions. Yeah. Ideally, even though this is the 4 hour time frame, ideally I don't think it's a very big. Okay, 70 pips. It's a very big stop loss. Matters regards to the strategy that I trade. But ideally, if you consider you're getting more than 400 pips, I think it's more than 400. Let's just check it. Yeah, ideally it can go up to 800, I think. Yeah, because we're expecting price to come up till this zone. Yeah, 70 to 800, fairly reasonable. Yeah, but if you go down to, let's say, 30 minutes to refine, I'm not supposed to be refining this much, but because I think the time for the session has already ended. And I'm expecting a call. So as I scroll down to check how price is acting, ideally at this zone we have a type 6 over here. Yeah, and since we have a type 6 over here, we can actually just enter the trade from here. Very tight stop loss. The stop loss will be around it's you can put it around here if you feel like this is a very small stop loss. Yeah, it's very tight over here. Either way, like I was telling you, we have a type over here, a type 6. So this is where I'll be expecting my first entries. There's this validation, violation, furthermost deviation, and all that. So as you guys can see, price consumed some of this liquidity on the week overlap over here. Hence, since I got some consumption on this, actually it was a complete, not complete, maybe like 75% till 80%. So I'll be getting my buys from here. I'll put up a long position from here. This is my entry, very tight stop loss, slightly there. Maybe let's say 10 pip stop loss. Target will be the 800. Yeah. If that gets taken, the other entry that I'll be looking at is down here. Yeah. Long position from this. I'll be entering at the closure of this previous candle. Stop loss will be around here. Yeah. Then I'll just camp, wait for price to come at me, then I hit the buys. This is around okay, that's not bad. That's because this is reactive liquidity engineering. I'll take that and I'll take my 800 pip take profit. So I'll be waiting price to come there, then I hit my buys because we saw what was happening and what we were expecting on the Japanese basket. Any other pairs you would like me to look at? Ama we close this my movement from there.
Okay, maybe EURUSD
Euro GPY
or USD JPY either.
Okay. For this, actually it's trapped. I'm currently in sales on this, but I'm thinking it'll get to this point, then start shooting up. I'm yet to see. I'm just observing, yeah. But let me start with the weekly. Let's see what we got. So ideally, I'm fully on buys as much as I am currently in sales. The sales are a short term, the buys are like long term. Why? We got a shift, a clean shift over here. We have a weak overlap over here. Yeah. So if price keeps selling, I'd expect price to, from where I got in to maybe somewhere here, then we push it up. We have our weak overlap over here. That could be my first TP. Then maybe expect price to come to this zones. This one, this is a really good structure over here. So I'd expect price to come over here maybe for sales. But it'll all depend on the news and what's currently happening in the world and all that, yeah. So since I'm currently in these sales, that's why my first TP was at this week. I'm expecting price to come back down till around this zone where we had the structure that I marked. We got the shift from here. Yeah. So we have the validation and violation there. Niko busy kiasi. Chukua. Validation, violation over there. Then apart from that, we also had liquidity engineering over here. Tap. It cleared. That's a clean QM. I'll expect price to come somewhere here. If it won't come for this point over here to the upside, because there's this inside formation. That's why I'm expecting price to come up until here. Stop loss will be slightly below this. Then price will shoot to the upside some more. Yeah. Till our area of interest, the weak overlap that I drew on the weekly. Yeah. So ideally, this is how I'll be camping for my entries from. I could either take it from that, because this overthrow is very close to the inside formation, and you can go down to a lower time frame if you'd like to refine it some more. But this is where I'll be camping. Yeah, see, it's a bit much, but considering what you'll be like, considering the amount of profits you'll be getting, 70 pips is way less than you would consider, because the price is going to move how many pips? Let's check it. Around 1,000 pips, yeah. So if you catch that swing, you can relax, especially if you have a good lot size, yeah. You can relax for a couple of months without even trading, yeah. So that's GJ, the buys that I'm looking for. I've already shown you what sales I'm in. Yeah. And if price decides to fail and keeps going down, as you guys can see currently, GJ is shooting up. There was just some small retracements. This one is also retracing. EJ is retracing, yeah. So if you feel like that
Ngare just disappeared, probably. Don't know. So guys, I think we are going to end our session here. We don't need to do more than 2 hours. Tomorrow being Monday, we're going to share updates in those various groups that we are in, on Discord, WhatsApp group, but most majorly on the Discord server. Those who are there, whereby we're going to share the intraday's opportunities and the upcoming swings. So I'll summarize this session by saying this. One of the most important thing in trading is risk management. Risk management will help you to have a work around your psychology, because if you can do proper risk management, Ongare is back. Ongare? Unmute your mic.
Hey, you guys, can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you. Ngare, I don't know if you are still there. Probably it's the internet. So guys, we'll end it here. Then we'll be doing, we'll share the setups and updates on the members area or on Discord. And then we're going to have our morning session as usual for the intraday setups and ideas so that guys can also take advantage of what happened. But remember, this week, it's NFP week. So we need to be very cautious. We need to be very cautious and apply proper risk management. So I think I don't have much to say. Those guys that we're going to be meeting physically, I'll be reaching out to you. And then we go on with our private physical session. Then the rest of us, those who have sessions at night, I'll also be reaching out and share updates. And we will be on the right track. Remember, it's a new month that is starting. So we need to be very, very, very patient and cautious on how we do things. What time, please? Tomorrow meeting will be at around 9 a.m. in the morning, 9 to 10 for the intraday or for the London session live breakdown. That is on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then for the evening session is 8 to 9 from Monday to Thursday. So I don't think is there anyone who has something to say or anything to add on before we end the meeting? All right. So guys, you guys have a lovely week ahead. Johnson, we have several types of liquidity. We have type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I had promised to share illustration last week, this week, today, I didn't do that. Now that we're ending this meeting, I'm going to share those structural illustration on Discord so that guys can look at when we talk of type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, type 5, what are we talking about and how do you use them? So it's I don't know how to explain to you, but I'll share a structure that you can look at it for reference, and then when I'll be explaining. Johnson, are you not okay? You will text me, I'll give you the Discord link. You text me, I'll give you the Discord link on WhatsApp. Yes, all the recordings are there. I'm gonna post on the groups. All the recordings are available. I'll share on the group. Okay, that is from Kenneth. Oh, okay. So you guys have a great week ahead. We'll be communicating in the morning session.